For the first part of this video, we're gonna talk about phase and activities. So, first of all, I will explain to you the first phase of Agile Scrum Bank, which is backlog. For backlogs activities, first, backlog holds all the planned tasks that are prioritized according to importance. This can be a single column or a block of several columns that are used to divide and prioritize tasks. Team members pull tasks from this section as they in availability in the work in progress. For the second phase of Agile Scrum Bank is called Work in Progress. Progress section visualizes how tasks move through the process steps. This is usually the largest section composed of as many columns as needed to visualize the full process. The goal of the team here is not to have a simple board, but to have a board that represents the full life cycle of each task, making it easy to track progress. The progress section is controlled by a work in progress limit, making sure the team only works on one task per person. And the final phase of Agile Scrum Bank is called Done. Done section holds all the finished project tasks, allowing easy access to information throughout the project and visualizing the amount of work done.
Now, we want to know the advantages of Scrum Bank. Let's go! Firstly, Scrum Bank is great for splitting large projects into bite-sized chunks. Scrum Bank is fantastic for planning out large or complicated items. Objectives can be split in the same way large projects are, with a constant focus on what is achievable in a given time frame, sprint. Next, advantages of Scrum Bank is enforces transparency. This lets everyone in the team see what is going on, what they need to be working on, and who their work depends on at a glance of our project management software. Next, advantages is identifies and reduces bottlenecks. Last advantages of Scrum Bank is achieve objective and avoids confusion through planning.
So now, I would like to explain about the disadvantages. The first one is offers less control for team manager. Next, has little documentation as is relatively new. And the last one is can be more difficult to track and monitor. Since it is a relatively new methodology, this means that there is very little in the way of documented best practices or pitfalls. Lastly, Scrum Bank don't have an effective tracking system. Letting your team decide to work on internally can make it hard to keep track of the specifics.
Next, we're gonna talk about how to use Agile Scrum Bank methodology. Step 1. Develop a Scrum Bank board. A Scrum Bank board is similar to a Kanban board because you will be using it as your primary workflow tool. Add as many columns to your Scrum Bank board as your team need to mark this discrete phase of progress. But be careful not to create so many columns that the board becomes cluttered and difficult to view. Step 2. Set your work in progress limit. Remember, Scrum set both time and task limit for every sprint. Kanban, by contrast, focuses on continuous workflow. You will need to establish a limit on how much work your team can take on at any one point. For Scrum Bank, That limit will be the number of total cards on the board at any time. Set a realistic limit to keep your team from becoming overwhelmed and frustrated. Step 3. Order the team's priorities on the board. This step illustrates another major difference between Scrum and Kanban and Scrumban. With Scrum, you will assign tasks to specific individuals within your dev group for each sprint. Under Scrumban, on the other hand, your focus will be establishing the priority order of all projects on the board. Step 4. Throw out your planning poker cards. Because each sprint has a strict time limit, and the team can work on only a predefined set of projects during any one sprint, a Scrum team needs to estimate how long each development task will take. So, they have devised methods such as planning poker to estimate the number of story points. Step 5. Set your daily meetings. Although you will have most of the meetings typical of the Scrum framework, sprint planning, sprint review, retrospective, Scrumban meeting can include short stand-up for the team to discuss their plans and challenges for the upcoming day. These short meetings are also a good way to encourage team bonding and cohesion because your developer will spend a lot of time working individually on their tasks and might not have much time for interaction otherwise.